Welcome to Main Street Stories. Today we are in Colorado Springs, Colorado, speaking with someone whose mission it is to impact lives for the positive. His name is Craig Tominini, but you probably know him as Ask Craig T. Welcome, Craig.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Can you tell me about the mission of Ask Craig T?
So it kind of started when I was younger. Had kind of a poor upbringing with my mother, and she was a single mom, and she really just kind of empowered me, and that's the word I like to use a lot, to be successful, to work for what I have, to go after what I want, but to realize that no one's ever going to give it to me. And I lived a lot of my life that way, and as I got older, realized how hard that was to fight myself a lot of the times, finding myself constantly getting in the way. And I learned some things from some people along the way and some experiences that I've had, and I just want to impart that wisdom and that knowledge to other people. The Ask Craig T part is really because a lot of people ask me questions a lot of the time, and sometimes I have the answers and sometimes I don't, but I want to be a resource for people that way.
So where was home? Where did you grow up?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, actually Worcester, Massachusetts officially, but I did live in Boston for a while as well, so East Coast.
Okay, so very different lifestyle on the East Coast. How do you believe the New England values shaped you compared to maybe some other places that you've been?
It's a good question. Definitely my boldness. I would say that when I was young, I'm an only child. I wouldn't say it was an orphanage mentality. I didn't have to scrap for everything, but being from the East Coast, I wasn't afraid to ask for what I wanted. I wasn't afraid to go get what I wanted. And I think that that's an East Coast attribute of a lot of people. They just, they're direct. We don't put a lot of sugar on anything, if any at all. And I think that that's definitely an underlying part of my character. And I've carried that throughout my life. And just to be a fighter, and I think that that's, if I were to think of the quintessential East Coast or Boston person, it definitely have that fight in their veins.
So your journey has brought you to Colorado Springs. What's that path been like from Massachusetts to here? What have you been doing with yourself?
So when I lived in Massachusetts, I was predominantly in a customer service kind of a role as I grew up. I went to a vocational school thinking that I would graduate from there and be a plumber and go start my own business, and none of that worked out the way that it was supposed to. I graduated from high school with very high honors actually, and it was right around the time when the trades fell apart. And as a result, I had to make a decision on where I was going to go next with my life, and part of that was I wanted to go to college, but I couldn't because we were very poor, and my mother didn't plan for that. And so I decided to go in the military, and that was going to be my ticket to getting a college education. Did that, came back from some training and some active duty time. I met my now ex-wife, and she actually, at the time when we got married, wanted to move here to Colorado to be closer to her family who had moved out here several years before. So I really found myself kind of in a point where I was starting over when I got to Colorado. A lot of things really just got chopped off in Massachusetts, and I just had to reinvent myself, and I think that's a lot of where this started for me. So,
what brought you to the place where you found yourself providing life experience wisdom to other people?
I wrote my first book, and that was really just a way for me personally to kind of dump a lot of my life's experiences out of my brain. I felt like I was, to use a computer term, I was indexing. I was completely full. The database needed to be purged.
Can you tell us, what was the book?
So the book's called The Power to Change, and it's actually something that I'm promoting currently. And it's in a nutshell, it is my walk from being my old self before I was a Christian to now being a Christian, being a believer, and what that journey kind of looked like. A lot of the dark periods, and a lot of my upbringing. The parts of when I grew up in Boston with my mom and what life looked like, and the struggles that we had, and then all the way forward to after I got divorced from my ex-wife, and what life looked like then with the band that I was playing with and touring with, and some struggles with addiction and things like that. And so I dumped it all into this really condensed 88-page, summary of Craig.
So is it cathartic? Is that a word?
Sure.
In some way, so a purging of what was inside that you felt like needed to be in order to be able to fully transform yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And what was funny is I didn't write the book to sell it. I wrote the book, like I said, just to dump it. But I did put it on a online print-on-demand publishing thing because a couple of my friends wanted to read it. And so I did that, and I sold a couple of copies just by virtue of that small demand. But what was funny is a lot of people started to to your question, started asking me or sending me emails and saying, "Hey, I got a hold of your book, and I was impacted by this one part," or, "Hey, you said you went through this thing over here. How did you get through that?" And so that was the genesis for the Ask Craig T thing. I found myself responding to literally hundreds of emails, and people were reaching out to me through social media and saying, "Hey, I got a copy of your book, and I'm really interested to know more about X." And so I think it was at that moment I started to realize that I had some experiences that added value to other people, and that I could share some things with other people, and I just got really super passionate about that.
Somebody, me, forgot to turn off the ringer on their phone. I've been a coach for a long time, and my preference was to work with people one-on-one so that I could dig deep, peel away the layers. But with social media, you're sometimes broadcasting out to large numbers of people. How do you manage the two? Which do you like more?
So yeah, I absolutely use social media to kind of get the word out, I guess. I haven't really figured out, honestly, what my message is 100%. Like I said, it's empowerment through encouragement is kind of my tagline, but I think I prefer the one-on-one. You can't get underneath the layers, like you said, unless you're I think you got to gain trust, right? That's a really important part. You've got to be focused on the person that you're engaging with. You have to really have a genuine desire to be authentic and really listen to people. And I think that not just with what I'm trying to do, but I think in life is really what we're kind of missing the mark on. People are definitely too engulfed in social media, in their electronic devices, life distractions, all those things. To really coach somebody in the context that we're talking about, I think it has to be one-on-one. I think it has to be personal, because I don't think vulnerability presents itself and trust doesn't manifest unless you have that kind of a reaction. And that's where I've had most of my success. Now, I say that I have only worked with a few people up to this point. I've had, and so I try to put myself out there where I'm not soliciting people. Like, I'm not going, "Hey, Dewey, you need some help? I want to help you." They're coming to me, and I prefer that. I have had 2 out of the 3 people I've worked with have come to me and said, "Mentor me," which is a huge bucket. And so I like to get with them one-on-one and understand what they're really looking for. What part of their life or parts of their life do they really want me to hone in on with them? Is it professional? Is it financial? Is it spiritual? Whatever it might be. And I kind of just take a little bit of myself and impart that to them, and we would just kind of go down the road together. And I learn more from people than they probably learn from me.
Isn't that the case always, that we take away more as the coach than sometimes than the person on the other side?
Absolutely.
I know that you're doing an event where people can come and hear some of your story, and a few other people are out speaking. Can you tell us a little bit about that event?
Sure. So the event is called Networking with a Purpose, and it's probably a little confusing to hear that title after everything we just talked about, but I just wanted an excuse really for a bunch of people to get together in a room. As I move through this journey, you talked about the process. I'm trying to establish ways to have an audience, right? I want to talk to the masses. And so I'm able to get a bunch of people in a room, 100 or so people in a room, for some excuse to network with each other, and then we can get on stage and we can share some information. And the 3 other speakers that I have lined up, Tyler Phillips, Pappy Sorales, and Jed Hafer, are all kind of on their own separate journeys. They all have their own separate brands. We're all at different levels of where we're trying to do this type of work, and we all kind of have a little bit different vision. But what we realized was when we came together for this event is that the overall message was really the same. It was encouragement, it was empowerment, it was take control of your life, it was be focused, and you have the ability to do what you need to do. And so we got this event together. It's on January 5th. It's at the Pikes Peak Library, the East Library over on Union. It's 5550 North Union Boulevard. Really excited for the event. your company, EKH Media, is our official partner, and I'm really excited about that. I'm just looking forward to getting people together and just seeing what happens. Honestly, I don't have an agenda for that particular event except to just get a bunch of really cool people, like-minded, in a room. So,
what are some of the takeaways you think the people will have from listening to you and your three friends, cohorts?
Right, yeah, all of that, yeah, they're cohorts, probably cohorts first and friends and then professional partners now. Man, I don't know. I guess my desire is just that they'll take something, right? That they'll come and they'll just hear something that just, lights them on fire. I think that passion is just one of those things that's just, it's not around anymore. People don't dream as much anymore, and they don't get emotional about things anymore. I'm getting emotional. I get really fired up about this stuff. It's the core of who I am. Didn't expect that, but yeah, I just hope that they come and they feel this way. I hope they feel like this when they leave. I hope they go, man, I'm on the right track, or now I got a roadmap, or hey, I met a person that can actually get me fired up and can help me. Maybe I found a mentor. Maybe I found a business partner for something else I'm already involved in. It's just, I don't know. I don't have an expectation. I'm just really excited.
And it's obvious that you are truly going to share from the heart. It's not a practice speech that you're putting out there that you're going to share. So you've told us about the event and where it's going to be. If someone were looking for more information, do you have a website that gives some more information on you or the event? Or
all of the above. So you can find me on any social media platform. So it's Ask Craig T. It's TEE. So Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, pick a platform. I'm on all of them that way. So super easy to find me on social media. I also have a website for myself. It's craigtomanini.com. The Pikes Peak Library District, where we're having the event at the library, they also have it on their event calendar as well. So if you just go to the Pikes Peak Library District calendar, you can find the event there as well. So.
And Craig, what would you like for someone to know that maybe we didn't talk about? Is there anything?
I don't know. The hard part is I just don't have any real expectations of this journey. I guess just be part of it. Come along for the ride with me. Maybe there's something that we can do together. If you are listening to this and you think, yeah, that guy would be kind of cool to talk to and sit down and have coffee with. I got some things I'd like to show. Definitely reach out. I'm not looking to monetize this, honestly. At this point, I'm really just trying to help people. I know that's hard to believe for a lot of people, but I have a day job. I work professionally in the IT industry. I'm good financially. I don't need that. I have a network marketing business I do on the side. I'm good with that. This isn't about the money. This is about the people for me. So,
I think that's a key thing for people to know, that you are somebody who is in this to help people. It is a journey which you don't necessarily have any preconceived expectations as to where you want to go, but you know that you're going to keep marching, and that's going to put you somewhere.
I heard somebody say, and I can't for the life of me think of who it was, so I'll throw the quote up, but you've heard the expression, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. But I believe if you follow what you're called to, right? If you can experience a calling in your life and you can pursue that, that's when you are aligned with greatness. That's when it's going to happen, whatever that is. The cool thing is I don't even know what that is. So I guess I'm in pursuit of this thing because I feel called to it. I feel like, this is where the big guy wants me. You know what I mean? This is what he wants me to do. And I think the thing that you're going to see at this event is just this sense of not being ashamed of being a believer in Jesus Christ. All four speakers are Christians. We are all putting it out there from that perspective. That we because they were my cohorts, I definitely know the background on these guys. None of us are exempt from the fact that we were not good people prior to our relationship with the Lord. And the fact that we can even have this platform, that we can, have an event like this, that we can be excited to this level, that's from him. I mean, that there's no denying that. And you're going to hear that from the stage. And I'm looking forward to seeing how people consume it. I'm really excited to see, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm excited to put it out there. And I think that boldness from Boston is really going to be on display, from my perspective for sure. So,
well, it's obvious. Here's a man who is part of the community and wants to connect with each and every person he possibly can, and in a deep way. And as I said, Robert Frost has this thing about fences making good neighbors. And here's someone who's looking to tear down fences and tear down walls and remove some of the demons that we all face as we walk through this journey, not always having all of the information that we need to be successful at it. I'm going to be at his event with some cameras so that you'll be able to, if you can't make it, you'll be able to see it afterwards. But I'm looking forward to my journey, getting to know this man even better. Thank you, Craig.
Thanks, Dewey. It's a pleasure.